Today we are going to learn about variables and functions. Let's talk about variables first. Suppose I have this data hi, how are you? Now I want to print it, find its data type, and convert it to uppercase. Then I will write print hi, how are you, class hi, how are you? And to upper hi, how are you? It will give the results hi, how are you, character and hi, how are you? In uppercase. But the process of writing the data again and again is really exhausting. What if I can take this data and store it in a box? Let's randomly name the box as empty94. Now instead of writing the whole hi, how are you, I can just write empty94 in its place. For example, print empty94, class empty94, to upper empty94. It will give the same result and it will be easy to write as well. This empty94 in programming language is known as a variable. Thus, a variable is actually a container or a box where you can store the data. Storing the data in a variable is easy. Just name the variable, add an assignment operator, and mention the data you want to store. Assignment operator is used to assign value to the variable. Arrow-shaped figure formed by less than sign with a dash is used as an assignment operator. Remember, the arrow should always point to the variable. Additionally, equal to sign can also be used as an assignment operator. If you will type empty94, then you will receive the answer hi, how are you? You can reassign new data to the same variable in a similar manner. Let's assign the data are you okay in empty94. At first the value of empty94 was hi, how are you? Now we type are you okay for empty94. Now if you will type empty94, then you will receive the answer are you okay. It is this easy. But there are also certain rules to follow while naming a variable, just like when you make a password. The rules are it must start with a letter or alphabet. It can contain only alphabets, numbers, underscore and period. Names will be case sensitive. Empty94 with a capital M and empty94 with a small case m will be considered to separate variables. Words that are reserved for something else, such as true, false, and, or etc. will not be used. Before we go any further, I wanted to talk about syntax. Just as we have a format of writing an application, we also have a format of writing a statement in programming language that is referred to as syntax. Some formats or syntax consists of indentation. Indent is the space given at the start of the line such that the indented statement do not start below the previous statement. I will mention the syntax as we go on. Now let's talk about functions. Basically, functions are the task we want to be performed on our data. It can be printing the data, adding it or arranging it in an order. A function statement has two components to it. The one in the black outside the parenthesis is the function name, and the one in purple inside the parenthesis is referred to as arguments or parameters. Arguments or parameters contain the data on which function has to be performed and other values too. The syntax of the function is the function name and the argument in parenthesis. There could be one or multiple arguments with a function. Functions generally have some parameters that define how the function will be performed. One can call these default parameters or settings. Let's see by the example of concatenation. Concatenation is a term used to join multiple data values. It is done using paste function. For example, if we want to join or concatenate to different data hi, how are you, and it was quite a day, then we just add these data values as arguments to paste function and it will give a join or concatenated data hi, how are you. It was quite a day. There are some inbuilt default parameters here, such as having space between two data values. Now let's change the default parameters. This time we will write an additional parameter beside the data values, that is, SEP. SEP refers to the separator between the data values. By default it is space. In this case we change it to X. Now the paste function will result in hi how are you X, it was quite a day. There won't be any space between the two data values. Similarly, let's see the same function with a vector containing two items and use the collapse parameter, that is space by default, and set it to percentage sign. Now we will get hi how are you percentage sign, it was quite a day. In addition to changing the parameter of a function, we can even make our own customized functions. The syntax is to mention the variable name that you want to give to your function. Now type function and mention the arguments you want to add. Then go to next line and add curly brackets. Again go to next line, add some indent and write what you want your function to do, followed by going to next line and adding curly brackets. For example, we want to create a function that calculates hypotenuse according to the Pythagoras theorem. So we will write the following commands. Now let's use the function. Function name is pyth_theorem and within parentheses we will add two arguments that represent base and altitude. On adding 2 and 3 to parentheses, we will get the answer 3.6, and on adding values 4 and 3, we will receive 5 as answer. Now let's go to another example where the function has to say hi I am name and I come from country. Your name and country will differ in each case and we have to pass these arguments to the function. So we will write the following commands. Now when we mention our function name underscore country and pass two arguments to it, then it will paste them together. Like adding arguments Avinash and India to our function will give hi I am Avinash and I come from India, whereas adding arguments Walter and France to our function will give hi I am Walter and I come from France. Additionally, there is also a feature of downloading functions. You see, like our mobile has all the basic applications, similarly our also has all the basic functions required. But even after having all the necessary apps on our mobile such as the camera app, we still download professional photo editing apps. Similarly, we can also download packages in R that have specialized functions dedicated to a particular purpose. For example, ggplot2 is a package dedicated for plotting graphs. To install these packages, type install.packages function in R and the package in parentheses. The package will be installed. Now to open the package, just type library and the package name in quotes. Now you can use the package. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.